Beta testing will apply to both product-based businesses as well as service-based businesses. Really, what you're trying to say is that this is the way we used to do business. This is the new way that we want to do business with you. And so, what you do is you identify usually people that you're already working with, and you say, here's the changes that we're looking to make. We want to have you experience these changes and then collect feedback whether or not you liked that or you disliked that. And then, depending on all that feedback that comes back, you're going to then decide whether or not you want to make that change for the whole business so that everybody now has this new experience that you go through. So some examples there, right? If you're product based, this is a lot for, your app, your website, your features, things that you're offering within the product itself and how you're changing how those things work for them. If it's service based, like we're a service based business, it's usually how we want to invoice or how we set up our retainers with you guys or how we set up how we're going to interact with you guys, where we're going to interact with you. We'll usually do the exact same thing, which is identify either brand new clients that just came in that are not exposed to the old way, or people that have worked with us for a long time that we think would be a good candidate for this new experience. And then after they're done going through this stint of time, whether that's a month, a couple months, we collect feedback. Hey, do you like the way that this is going or you dislike it? And then again, on that feedback, that's when we're actually going to decide, should we change this for everybody? So it does not matter what type of business you are. Don't get caught up in the word beta testing. I feel like always kind of makes people feel like it's just product. It is service too. It's just testing new ways to do business. So this system here is really going to help you identify how you can automate this process. So when you want to do beta testing, how you find the right people to reach out to that are existing clients, how you get them to fill out forms and surveys to automatically give you the feedback and then update that within Salesforce so that you have those notes. So this is a really seamless process of how you're going to make the decision versus probably right now sending a bunch of emails out, hoping people sign up for the beta testing, hoping they give you feedback, and then maybe having some type of shoddy feedback of whether or not this went well. And that doesn't really help you make a confident decision whether or not you should change this for the entire business. So this diagram is going to show how a business invites the right customers to test a new product or a service or a feature, remind them if they do not respond to that first email that we send out, how we're going to collect the feedback so that the product can be improved without things getting missed. Okay. So up here, obviously the trigger point for this system, you want to say that you're doing some type of beta testing, something that we want to change in the business. The very first decision that you need to make is who qualifies for this beta testing that we're going to be doing. Now, if it's a feature or it's a specific type of thing within the service, you obviously want to identify who is going to likely give us good feedback, who's likely going to be willing to do this with us, who do we have a good relationship with, or like I mentioned in our own business, sometimes it's just brand new customers. Hey, the next, whatever it is, 5, 10 new customers that come in, they're all just going to go through this new way and we're going to see how things go and collect feedback so that it's not a hard change for them. So you want to have some type of decision here, identifying who's going to fit the best for this new experience that they're going to go through. Once you do that, we're going to then go get those contacts inside of Salesforce, and then we're going to send them the beta testing email. So this is going to be some email copy that you're going to work with your marketing team on that basically says, hey, we have some beta testing coming out. We think you'd be a good candidate for that beta testing coming out. We'd love for you to do this thing with us. Here's the launch day. Here's all this stuff, right? So you have some type of email copy just notifying them that we've chosen them to do beta testing, and we're officially inviting them to go through this beta testing with us if they choose to opt in. So the next question or decision that you want to look at is whether or not they accept that. So within that form or that email that you have, you're going to have something that says you either respond and say yes, or you fill out this survey that we sent you within that email that says yes, something to say that yes, we accept, we want to do the beta testing with you. So there's then going to be a couple branches whether or not they accept. If the answer is no, this is not accepted, one of those things that I would further follow up on here is, did they even look at the email? If they did not look at the email, then we want to go down this path over here, which is sending these reminders. It's unlikely that you're going to send out an email and just get every single person that you want to fill it out and say, yes, we'll do beta testing. A lot of times this comes across as noise. They don't care. It's your problem, not their problem. So they're not really investing a lot of time trying to make sure this goes smoothly for you. That means you're going to have to probably send out a few reminders. So I have 3 in this example. You can send out more than that, but please watch the line of trying to be too spammy. You don't want to turn good customers off to this or turn them off to emails that you send. You got to think through other marketing things that you do, like newsletters and email blasts. You don't want to give them the idea that I'm just going to spam you and either get blocked or removed or unsubscribed from the services we offer. And you also don't want to turn them off to the idea that, you're hassling them to solve a problem for you, right? So keep that in mind as you do this. I think 3 is always a good one to do. It's enough, but at the same time, it's not over the top. So what we'll do here is send another reminder, look to see if they accepted. If they don't, again, we'll send another reminder. And then if they accept, yes, great, push them over to this branch. If not, we're not going to keep spamming them. They're obviously not interested. Within this, I would also say that you don't want to do these back to back. You're going to want to delay these for X amount of days. I don't have that in here because that's going to be dependent on your marketing team as you work with them, what we should do, whether that's you delay 1 day and then you send out the other reminder if they haven't clicked, you delay 2 days, you delay 3 days, 5 days. The other thing to keep in mind is how long of a notice are we giving these people before beta starts? Is this 2 months, 3 months, a month before? Then you're also going to space it out with these emails of how often you should be reminding them if they have not opted in. Okay. So pretty straightforward on the no. Basically send a couple reminders. If they don't do it, great. We're just going to end it. We're not going to keep hassling. If they say yes, the other branch over here is going to be sending them the instructions, or AKA what is changing. So if it's a product, here's some instructions of how to maybe sign up for it or turn on beta testing. A recent example with Loom, even this service I'm using right now, this product, they have just a toggle button on the app that says you can turn on beta when they were running beta testing. So if it's something simple as that, some instructions explain how that is. If you're service-based, this is probably going to look a lot more like instructions on what's going to change. So, hey, here's the experience you're about to go through. This is how we'll, change things for you moving forward for the next X amount of time. So you want to send them that heads up so they can acknowledge what is changing. Then we're going to send, usually in that same email, if not, send them another follow-up that would have beta testing dates. So, hey, maybe this is really far in advance. Let's say we're doing a campaign that's 3 months in advance. We're just going to send some instructions about what's going to change. And then, hey, we'll let you know when this is going to start. Then you can send this. If this is closer, more like a month, then I would just put it in the first email. Tell them, hey, this is the date we're looking to turn this on for you. Just heads up. After they do that, send another thank you. I would say at that time that this starts, you can serve as another reminder that this is actually going to be turned on so they haven't forgotten, especially if this is a long campaign, and then just thank them for their time. This is going to kind of push the notion that, hey, we're sending you a thank you in advance because we do want feedback. There's no point to do this if you don't give us feedback. So after they do that, we're then going to collect feedback after this beta testing has started. Just basically going to say, hey, this is ongoing. If it's a product, you can kind of do this a little bit sooner, where maybe it's only a day, a week, maybe a month, but you can collect feedback a lot quicker because they're going to interact with it immediately. Now, if this is service, you might want to delay this one for X amount of time, whether that's a month, 2 months, 3 months. For our service, we've been delaying it for about a month. We let these people experience it for about a month and see how that first month went, and then send them a survey, see how they liked or disliked what we went through, and then collect that feedback. So service, I would wait a little bit longer so they have time to experience how you're going to interact with them versus a product. We'll collect that feedback through a survey. Once you get that survey, we then want to make basically the same decision we did up above, which is whether or not they submitted the feedback for us. That was the whole point of running beta testing, is so we can get a yes or a no, so we can then make a decision as a business whether this was a good idea or a bad idea. So we want to go through that same type of idea with the submission here, which is if it's a no and they didn't send it back to us, we want to send out a few reminders. Again, use your own rule of thumb of how many reminders you want to send. I have 3 in this example that basically just says, hey, you didn't submit it. Can you please submit this for us? And you do that a few times so we can try to get that back from them. Again, this is something that is not their problem. It's more your problem to try to solve. They're going to be less inclined or less interested to try to help you with this in most of my experiences. So don't try to spam them for it. Don't make it over the top. I know it's frustrating that they don't send it, especially after you did all this work to try to get them on the beta testing. But at the same time, you don't want to ruin a relationship there. So just mind how many reminders you're going to send out. Once they say yes, though, and they submit this, we want to have a completion thank you. Thank you for the beta testing. I would then go into Salesforce, and you could do a number of things here, but a couple examples would be updating the contact notes to say what they said. If you're sending out a survey, which we do inside of Salesforce, you could also just have that survey attached to the contact as like a related form. So when they have that, for us, like customer satisfaction, for an example, when we send out our CSAT surveys every month, that gets attached to the contact. So that way we know, hey, when we're looking at John Doe, every single time when we click on his contact, there's a related list that will show me all of the surveys that he's completed and how happy he's been with us. So you could do something like that. If you don't have that set up, you're a little more DIY, at least put something in the contact notes or a notes section of what they said so you have it. You might even want to consider having some type of like beta testing. You might even want to name it beta testing 1. Here's the date. Here's the day they completed it. So you have that on record for reporting. That way you know, hey, this person was a good candidate. And if you ever do this again, you know that they might be a better candidate for the second one too, since they opted into the first one. So a really good idea at the end here, just to make sure you're capturing that somewhere. So it's, again, automated and we're not hunting down in a bunch of email inboxes what everybody said. A survey usually works best for this because it can just come into Salesforce. We can attach it to the contact. And then anybody that we were curious about of what they said, we can just go look at that contact and then read what they said directly within the survey. So really cool way to do that. If you're not familiar with how to set up surveys, the customer satisfaction one that I just gave you, I have a YouTube video on that as well. That'll go through the exact way that we build out the survey inside of Salesforce if you want to do that. Now, overall, I would really recommend having this. Like I said, no matter what your business is, you will do some type of beta testing. So it's nice to have a system here to be able to automate that for you. So if you've not done that before and you prefer someone like myself to come in with our team and do this for you, there is a link in the description below. We'll see if we're a good fit for you guys as your consultants. And if the answer is yes to that, then we'd love to come in, talk about what you guys try to do with your beta testing, set up a system that would look like this so you have this automated in the future. Look forward to speaking to you soon.